What's going on, guys? It is K-Dog's Kennel coming at you with week 2 of my NFL picks. Hopefully, I have enough light. It looks like I have enough light in here up in my office area. Just a quick recap from last week. We did go 7-9 in our picks. We had a couple upsets last week, which we'll talk about here as we move through these picks. So yeah, I didn't even realize it was Thursday until my wife told me today. So I'm like, shit, I got to get these up because we have a game tonight. And that game is the 0-1 New York Football Giants taking on the 0-1 Washington Football Team. Big story coming out of this is that Washington quarterback Ryan Fitzpatrick is out minimum 6 to 8 weeks due to a hip injury. So therefore, Taylor Heineke, I think it's Heineke, will be starting in Ryan's place. I like Washington in this game really for a couple reasons. Number one, Giants running back Saquon Barkley really didn't do a whole lot against Denver last week, and I don't think he's going to do a whole hell of a lot against Washington's defensive front. I just feel like Washington has a better defense than Denver, and I have absolutely no confidence in Giants quarterback Daniel Jones. It's not that I don't like him. I think he seems like a really good kid. Whatever. I don't have the faith in Daniel Jones. I'm not saying the Giants are going to go 0-17 or anything like that by any means. I think Washington is the better football team. Taylor Heineke started for the Washington football. I still want to call them the Redskins. I'm sorry, but started last year's playoff game against the Buccaneers and almost took Washington to an upset, but that wasn't in the cards. But like I said, I like Washington. I think they're going to improve to 1-1 on the year. Next up, the 0-1 New England Patriots taking on the 0-1 New York Football Jets. I took the Jets last week. I thought maybe there's a glimmer of hope for the Jets. Zach Wilson looks like he's going to be a star quarterback. I wouldn't say elite, but I'd say a star, even though he got knocked around. Patriots defense, a hell of a lot better than Carolina's defense. I think the Jets are going to get freaking smoked. Despite the Patriots losing last week, I think they're going to get after Zach Wilson early and often, and I can't pick the Jets 2 weeks in a row. I'm sorry. So I'm taking New England in that game. Next up, the 1-0 Denver Broncos taking on the 0-1 Jacksonville Jaguars. I really thought that the Jaguars were going to come out looking better than they did against the lowly Houston Texans. Nothing against the Texans at all. I think this is going to be a throwaway year for them, but we'll get to Houston here when we get to their game. At the end of the day, I'm going to take the Broncos over the Jaguars. I think Trevor Lawrence is going to establish himself. I think he's going to get his footing under him per se. But again, with Denver, Denver's a much better team than Houston, and I think Jacksonville is going to continue to struggle. And until Trevor Lawrence gets his wheels about him, and the Jaguars' offense can come to life. Jaguars are going to put up some points, but I do think Denver is going to take it. I think they have a slight edge in that regard. So I'm going to take Denver over Denver over Jacksonville. Next up, we have the 0-1 Buffalo Bills taking on the 1-0 Miami Dolphins. Now, the Bills came out looking really flat against Pittsburgh. I was actually a little bit surprised by that, especially given the growth of Bills quarterback Josh Allen. I thought Josh Allen would have a much more stellar game. But credit Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh, led by star linebacker T.J. Watt. He just signed that massive contract extension, and he played like he is worthy of the money they gave him, and he is. I think T.J. Watt is by far one of the best defensive players in the NFL today. So I think this is going to be a close game with Buffalo and Miami. Miami's coming off that big win against New England last week. Tua, I can't even say his last name, so I'm just going to call him Tua. But he was impressive against New England. But as good as Buffalo is, I can't see Buffalo dropping 2 straight. So I'm taking the Bills over Miami in a close game. This game, if it comes down to anywhere from a field goal to a touchdown, it wouldn't surprise me. But I am going to take Buffalo. I kind of wishy-washy on this one a couple days. At first I took Miami and I was like, no, Buffalo. So I'm going to stick with my guns. I'm going to go with Buffalo. Like I said, I look for them to come out a lot better than they did against Pittsburgh. So we're going to go Buffalo over Miami. Next up, the 1-0 San Francisco 49ers taking on the 1-0 Philadelphia Eagles. Now, this is another game that I struggle with. San Francisco, a couple key injuries. Raheem Mostert is out for the year. So that's a big hit to San Francisco's running game. However, I'm going to go on a limb with this. I'm taking the 49ers in another close game this week. The Eagles played the Falcons. I know I took Atlanta last week. I thought, I had a little bit more faith in Atlanta than probably the rest of the world did. But Jalen Hurts is the future there in Philadelphia. And he had a great showing last week. But then again, the Eagles played the Falcons. Falcons are not that great. I think the Falcons are going to have again, we'll talk about Atlanta when we get there. But I do like San Francisco. I like Jimmy Garoppolo, the Jimmy Garoppolo, Trey Lance duo. But at the end of the day, I'm going to go with San Francisco over Philadelphia. Nothing against Philadelphia. I feel San Francisco is the better team in that regard. I really don't like any team in the NFC East, to be perfectly honest with you, this year. I mean, obviously there has to be a division winner, but none of them really stand out as the front runner. Obviously, we're only 2 weeks into the season right now, so it's really hard to decipher a front runner in any division right now. But like I said, I'm going to stick with my guns, taking San Francisco over Philadelphia. Next up, the 1-0 Cincinnati Bengals taking on the 0-1 Chicago Bears. This is another game I kind of flipped around a lot. Chicago, I'm going to make this real simple to you. I mean, anybody that knows me knows I'm a diehard Packers fan, so it's easy for me to knock the Bears, but I'm simply just going to put this out there. Get Andy Dalton out of that starting role. The sooner the Chicago Bears start Justin Fields, the sooner there's going to be a shift with Chicago, because I feel of the two, I think Justin Fields is the much better quarterback than Andy Dalton. I am, however, going to take the Bears. Maybe it's an upset. I don't know. I didn't even see who's favored. But the Bengals, granted, impressive overtime win last week against Minnesota. But in my heart of hearts, I want the Bengals to win. But for prediction's sake, I'm taking the Bears. I just think that that defense might get to Joe Burrow a little bit. And like I said, it's just, if the Bears lose this game, Andy Dalton needs to go. Put his ass on the bench, get Justin Fields up in there, and I can see a more winning dichotomy with Fields than I can Dalton. I think, and another big thing why I'm taking the Bears, for me, this is a revenge game for Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton played the first, pretty much every, I think he was with Dallas last year, but every year prior to that, he was a Cincinnati Bengal. And then when the Bengals got drafted Joe Burrow, Andy Dalton kind of got phased to the side. And then, so I think Andy Dalton has a point to prove in this game. I think he wants to beat his former team, basically just to kind of, give them a big, fuck you, for drafting, Joe Burrow and basically, getting me out of Dodge. But I'm not confident with the pick, but I am going to take the Chicago Bears over the Cincinnati Bengals. Next up, we have the 1-0 Houston Texans taking on the 0-1 Cleveland Browns. I was on the road to Wisconsin, actually, during week one, during the afternoon games. And when I saw that the Browns had the Chiefs beat 22-10, I was like, man, everybody's talking about how, Kansas City's going to, potentially, be in the Super Bowl against, presumably Tampa Bay. Everybody seems to be on the Tampa Bay bandwagon because of Tom Brady. But I thought to myself, maybe Cleveland can prove everybody wrong. Maybe Cleveland can prove that they're not pushovers. They're not, you know, they're not. The Browns have done well in regular, but then flop in the playoffs. So I thought, hey, Cleveland's got a shot here. And then, of course, Patrick Mahomes did what Patrick Mahomes always does, and he led Kansas City to a huge come-from-behind victory, but that's not a surprise. But now Cleveland's taking on the Houston Texans. The Texans are god-awful. They're god-awful. Yes, they put a ton of points on the board against Jacksonville. I don't know if that's a showing of how good Houston really is or just how bad Jacksonville is. But irregardless, in this game, I am going to take the Cleveland Browns. Huge bounce back win for last week. Like I said, a Baker Mayfield interception there in the closing minutes of the game last week sealed Cleveland's fate and allowed Kansas City for the come-behind win. I don't think there's going to have to be a come-from-behind win. I think Cleveland's going to win this outright. I don't see Houston doing a whole hell of a lot against Cleveland. So we'll leave it at that. Cleveland should steamroll Houston, but we'll see. Like I said, Houston could surprise you, but I'm in Cleveland all the way. Next up, we have the impressive 1-0 Saints taking on the 1-0 Carolina Panthers in an NFC South showdown. The Saints, let's start with them. The Saints looked amazing against Green Bay. Now, again, the game against the Packers was, again, I don't know if it's that New Orleans was just that good or if Green Bay was just that piss poor. Like I said, I got a lot to say about Green Bay, which we'll do in the Monday night game. But Jameis Winston actually showed me something. He didn't have to do a lot against Green Bay because they basically ran the ball and they ran it down Green Bay's throat, which seems to be a normal thing for Green Bay. They can't stop the run. But in this game, I do think they're going to easily take down the Panthers. I think this is it won't be a blowout per se, but I can see New Orleans winning by at least double digits. Sam Darnold. Yeah, it's almost like a resurrection for him. He got his sweet revenge playing the Jets last week, and the Panthers got the win, so that had to feel good for him. But then again, Carolina, as far as Darnold, meh quarterback, but he does have Christian McCaffrey, DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson. I mean, Sam Darnold's got some weapons on his offense, but I just think that there's going to be more too much New Orleans, not enough Carolina. I'm taking the Saints over Carolina in that game. Next up, we have the 0-1 Minnesota Vikings taking on the 1-0 Arizona Cardinals. Speaking of impressive, my friends, the Arizona Cardinals looked fantastic against the Houston Texans, on both sides of the ball. Kyler Murray had a great game. DeAndre Hopkins had a great game. Chandler Jones on the Cardinals defense had like 5 sacks on Ryan Tannehill. That was impressive. I think Arizona is going to continue on that upward trend, and I'm taking the Cardinals over the Vikings. The Vikings lost last week to Cincinnati in overtime. Kind of shocking because I took Minnesota in that game, but the Vikings played like shit, period. Kirk Cousins, I'm not sold on him. I think he was a good quarterback in college, not so much in the pros. But, I think that Cardinals defense is going to get after him. Dalvin Cook might be able to salvage the offense a little bit because I think Dalvin Cook's one of the top running backs in the league. So we'll see how that plays out. But at the end of the day, I'm going to take Arizona to go to 2-0. Next up, we have the 1-0 LA Rams taking on the 0-1 Indianapolis Colts. Now, this one I struggled with a little bit. I don't see the teams in the NFC West going to 1-0 for the second week in a row. So one team in the NFC West had to lose. Unfortunately, that team I picked to lose is the Rams. I think the Rams, of everybody in the NFC West, I think they have the toughest game against Indianapolis. Indianapolis is a tricky team because I think Indianapolis has what it takes to take out the Rams. Plus, I don't know. I'm just Matthew Stafford played well last week, but then again, they played the Bears. I mean, come on, what do you expect? But it could be an upset. But you know what? I'm gonna take the Colts over the Rams. Like I said, that might be my. I know. Again, I'm not sure. I didn't even look at the lines. I don't know who's favored or whatever. But I am gonna take the Indianapolis Colts. I don't even know if Carson Wentz is playing. That's how bad I am, kind of with my current info on the NFL. I know Carson Wentz is their quarterback, but I know he was also injured. But either way, I'm taking the Colts with a potential upset over the Rams. Next up, 1-0 Las Vegas Raiders taking on the 1-0 Pittsburgh Steelers. Raiders had a very impressive win in overtime over Baltimore on Monday Night Football. But I don't think Lightning's going to strike twice against Pittsburgh. I've got the Steelers winning this game. Steelers look really good against Buffalo. They really did. Buffalo is a perennial powerhouse in the AFC, and for the Steelers to take them down the way they did, I thought was impressive. And I think Buffalo's a much better team than Las Vegas, and I think Pittsburgh is going to have another impressive showing. So I'm going to take Pittsburgh over the Las Vegas Raiders. Oh, boy. The 0-1 Atlanta Falcons taking on the 1-0 Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the reigning champions in the NFL. I'm not even going to spend a minute on this. The Falcons are going to get slaughtered in this game. I think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Tom Brady, obviously, up for debate as the greatest of all time. He proved that last week in the opening game against Dallas. Being down by a point did not faze that man. He went downfield, drove them, and obviously Tampa Bay won the game. Atlanta does not stand a chance. This is like you can call this my lock of the week. I think Tampa Bay is going to win this game, and I think they're going to win huge. They're going to win, I think, the last time I saw the line, I think Tampa Bay is favored by like 10 or 12. I think you can fucking double that. I think the Buccaneers are going to freaking win this game by at least 2 touchdowns, if not more. Like I said, not even going to waste my time on that one. Tampa Bay all the freaking way on that game. Next up, the 0-1 Tennessee Titans taking on the 1-0 Seattle Seahawks. Tennessee kind of came out flat against Arizona. I was a little surprised by that. But at the end of the day, it just comes back to I think Seattle's a much better team. I think the Seahawks have it on both sides of the ball. I think it's going to come down between the Seahawks and possibly the Rams as to who takes that division. But I like the Seahawks in this game. Tennessee, I took them last week over Arizona. Watch them win this week. Watch them prove me wrong. But Derrick Henry, I think, is still a bell cow. He's still a workhorse. Again, Ryan Tannehill. I'm kind of wishy-washy on him. He has flashes of good, but he has flashes of bad as well. End of the day, I think Seattle's defense is going to be too much. So I'm going with Russell Wilson and his Seattle Seahawks to get the victory to go to 2-0. Next up, 0-1 Dallas Cowboys taking on the 1-0 LA Chargers, led by freaking phenom Justin Herbert. Herbert had a great game last week. That kid is just nothing but on the rise. But I'm gonna take Dallas on the road. I think Dallas had a very impressive showing against Tampa Bay. I think a lot of people thought Dallas would come out and just get stomped, but Dallas hung in there to the very end, like the last 90 seconds of the game before Tom Brady does what Tom Brady does. So I don't know what it is about this game, but I like Dallas on the road. Don't know why. I'm just, again, looking possibly an upset. I didn't see the line. I'm not sure who's favored, but I'm going to take Dallas in a close game. Sunday night football, the 1-0 Kansas City Chiefs taking on the 0-1 Baltimore Ravens. Again, Monday night's game surprised me. I'm very surprised the Ravens lost that game on Monday because I just felt as a whole, I think Baltimore has a great team. Baltimore is hurting desperately. If you can run the football, contact the Baltimore Ravens. Maybe you can get a tryout as a running back. J.K. Dobbins out for the year. Gus Edwards out for the year. I think they have another running. They have 3 running backs on IR. So that's why they picked up Le'Veon Bell. Tyson Williams, I think, or was that his name? I don't know. But I don't know. I've got Le'Veon Bell on my fantasy team. I'd like to see them maybe promote Le'Veon and have him play in this game. But I think this might be a slugfest. Honestly, I think this is going to be probably a high-scoring game. But I like the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes, Kansas City is my favorite in the AFC to go to the Super Bowl. I know it's week 2. You guys might think I'm completely off my gourd, but I think Kansas City is going to be the team to beat in the AFC. I don't think a lot of people I've seen on various other podcasts and stuff, a lot of people think Kansas City is going to run the table and go 20-0. I don't think any team's going to do that, at least not in year 1. But I do like Kansas City. And as much as Baltimore struggled against Las Vegas, Kansas City's a much better team than Las Vegas. So I've got Kansas City going over on Baltimore. Monday Night Football has the 0-1 Detroit Lions against the 0-1 Green Bay Packers. Here we go. I've listened to a lot of people talk about how piss poor Green Bay played. I'm a diehard Packers fan. I'm going to tell you guys how it is. The Packers got their fucking asses kicked last Sunday by New Orleans, and they freaking deserved it. Their defense couldn't stop them anything, and Aaron Rodgers, the freaking crybaby that he is. Speaking of that, let me backtrack a little bit. Those people saying that Aaron Rodgers threw the game, shut the fuck up. He didn't throw the game by any means. Yes, he played like shit. Yes, I think the fact he skipped minicamp, he skipped OTAs, had an impact on that because Aaron Rodgers played like shit. Won't deny that. But to those that are saying, oh, he threw the game, shut up. He didn't throw the game. He had a bad game. I think the Packers at home, now if the Lions win this game 38-3 or even by double digits, there's going to be a problem in Green Bay. Sit Aaron on his ass, put in Jordan Love. Not saying Aaron doesn't care, not saying Aaron doesn't want to win. Aaron said post-game after the Saints game, he basically played like crap. The whole offense played like crap. Defense played like crap. It's one game. It's one game. I'm not ready to push the panic button in Green Bay. I think there's a lot to improve on. I think our defense, first-year defensive coordinator Joe Barry, and I mean, Green Bay has struggles on defense. I'm not going to lie. At least Detroit last week in a loss against San Francisco, at least Detroit put forth an effort. Green Bay sure didn't. Green Bay looked like shit. End of story. But at home, Lambeau Field, prime time, Aaron thrives in primetime games. Taking the Packers. Just because I cannot see Green Bay playing that type of game that they played against New Orleans against Detroit. It's a division game. Division games are always huge because, I mean, obviously when it comes down to playoff seedings, the record in your own division has a lot to do with that. So, Green Bay's got to get their heads out of their asses and play football come Monday night. Because, like I said, Lions aren't going to roll over. Lions have a big news coming out this week. Jeff Okudah, star Lions cornerback, out for the year with a ruptured Achilles. That's going to play a part in that game because I don't think Aaron's going to have a heyday, but I think Aaron's going to play better. I hope. Knock on wood. Knock on wood. But yeah, I'm going to take the Packers to shine over Detroit on Monday Night Football. So, quick recap. I've got the Washington football team over the New York Giants. I have the Patriots over the Jets. I have the Broncos over the Jaguars, the Bills over the Dolphins, the 49ers over the Eagles, the Bears over the Bengals, the Browns over the Texans, the Saints over the Panthers, the Cardinals over the Vikings, the Colts over the Rams in an upset, Pittsburgh over Las Vegas, the Buccaneers to slaughter the Falcons, the Seahawks over the Titans, the Cowboys over the Chargers, the Chiefs over the Ravens, and the Green Bay Packers over the Detroit Lions in Monday Night Football. So there we go, guys. There is week 2 in a nutshell. I'm going to wrap this up. And then I'm going to we'll be back next week with week 3, obviously, and then we'll recap how we did for week 2. So better than 7-9, I'm hoping. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it. Hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and let me know in the comments how you think this week is going to play out. So that being said, guys, I'm going to go get something to eat, and then I got to get ready for work. So thank you guys so much for watching. Appreciate it, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Take care.